That's true.
Regardless, okay, it is what it is.
Why
like
all I see is your neck in your face? Why is it so bright over there? All I see is your neck in your face. Why do you have to wear white outside in the sun? Start the shit.
It was
And there's so much that we have to cover. We had a pay-per-view. Raw was last night. I do want to start off with All Out because there's a lot of things that went on with that bad boy. You know, you had the Matt Hardy incident, which we could get into. You know, you had the Jon Moxley match versus MJF. You know, there was a lot of will he, won't he lose the title there. You know, so much things going on there. And I got to be honest, guys. I checked out All Out. I was alongside my boy People's Champ, my brother, my brethren. It didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me. What say you guys?
I gotta agree. I gotta agree. It felt like a regular show to me. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It felt like a regular cable. You could have had all of this on cable. I think the biggest thing coming out of who stole the show? The lady stole the show.
Yes.
The women's division match was really good. I enjoyed
Told y'all ass.
The one thing I can honestly say about AEW, their women's division is by far the best, next to Impact.
Yeah.
They have the best women's division.
They're improving. They're
improving.
They had great stars, but they just didn't know how quite to get them going. I think Sheeta finally had an opponent that can finally meet up to her expectations. Like, I feel Thunder Rosa definitely showed out. I mean, I know this hurts Tyler because she's part of, NWA Power and how that's going on.
Nah, we got to put some respect on Thunder Rosa's name, man.
And
she was rocking it as Cobra Moon and Lucha Underground. Nah, listen, I got to represent for NWA, man. I'm the only one here, all right? I know what all this is going on. As a matter of fact, next week to this day, as we're recording on Tuesday, what is it, September 8th, next week we're going to be seeing Mike Bennett and Nick Aldis in their championship matchup for the NWA Championship, all right? So y'all
that's where he went. Oh, good for him.
Oh, I'll kick your ass. All that's shown is your neck. Let me tell you something right now. Goddamn, NWA saved not saved All Out. It was the highlight. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
As a fan of the NWA, see the women's champion rocking with Takara.
I will say this about All Out though. If anybody had any doubts about MJF, don't have any more doubts. MJF definitely proved himself. He proved that he could be a main eventer. He proved that he is a future AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Just unfortunately, right now, it's not his time.
Yeah, I think the MJF, the hype behind MJF going into it was kind of similar to, if you remember all of the stars upcoming. If you watch any wrestling promotion where it's just like you just got hot, you could potentially take the strap, but you go up against the big dog and you just are not hacking it right now. But later on down the line, when you have that momentum behind you and it's sustained, you're able to take on that title. I mean, again, like I've been on kind of like a power trip with SmackDown 03. I'm looking at Benoit going through it. I'm looking at John Cena doing it. I'm looking at Eddie Guerrero doing it. By the time it turned to 2004, everybody was ready. So I look at MJF, I kind of see the same thing there. So most definitely, I think that MJF really showed out. Also,
I want to add one thing.
Go ahead.
We're starting to see the return of one of my favorite guys. The Cleaner.
Oh.
Cleaner.
I cannot wait for that heel turn. That is going to be something special. I can't wait for that.
He's coming back, baby.
You got to sell it. You got to sell it this week.
Those who don't watch anything outside of WWE, not a shot at Gene. Those who don't watch anything outside of WWE, if you have not seen who Kenny Omega is pre-Bullet Club, going into Bullet Club, that was one of the most special times ever. I'm talking about IWGP Intercontinental Championship Kenny Omega. This is the Kenny Omega that we're going to get in America. And if they let him be fully creative with this is going to work. I'm very excited for this.
Kid Ty is not impressed. What you thinking about this, man?
I mean,
I'm a big advocate for Kenny Omega.
I saw it. It's definitely the most. I'm losing adjectives. It's definitely the most beloved incarnation of Kenny Omega because of what he did in New Japan. I'm not exactly a fan of 75, bicycle knees into Jesus Christ, but it's going to definitely bring his stock up, because one of the things people brought up about AEW is that Kenny Omega didn't feel like himself. He didn't feel like the character that he was in New Japan. And incredible athlete, very video game-esque moveset, and that's the point. With the way that the business is right now, if that Kenny Omega comes back in any capacity, it's going to immediately make him it's sort of like what we were talking about with SmackDown, how you have a whole bunch of these guys who by themselves are amazing talents, but because of how they've been positioned, you don't feel it out of them anymore. You just run through SmackDown's roster, you see people like John Morrison, Miz, these guys who all on their own can be top stars for the show, right? But they don't feel like it because of their position. That's Kenny Omega right now. And if he's going to bring back the cleaner, then you immediately have at the forefront one of the best stars in the world in terms of drawing attention. And AEW needs it.
Yeah, so. Definitely. Because we all had speculated, the fact that, all out, we've been speculating for the past couple of pay-per-views, the return of certain stars such as a Pac, coming back and, wrecking ship and, essentially trying to take on Jon Moxley for the AEW champion. Now you got, Lance Archer coming in, popping in, sliding in the DMs and then this Instagram comments saying, hey, Moxley, I'm coming for you. You know what I mean? And all these different things. You have Moxley giving him the middle finger to close the show. Looking toward the future, how do you guys see AEW?
Going in the future, I think they're starting to right the ship in a lot of different ways. I think, and I hate to say this because he's my guy, but with Cody shooting heels with Stephen Amell, I think you start to finally see other stars that are main event talent or attractions get the chance to finally, explore that. Especially with Moxley. I think even with his match against MJF, in some ways I start to finally see the Moxley that was expected in AEW, not the Dean Ambrose that we've been seeing since last year. And in another sense as well, you see new stars coming up. Scorpio Sky, who I think is going to be a really good star in the future, who for me it's really opened my eyes in terms of his ability and where he can possibly go with his career. What else? The women. Tyler has been. I ain't gonna front. I gotta say this right now on the show because I gotta give my god brother his roses while he's his knowledge of wrestling. He has been one of the most knowledgeable encyclopedias, as you will, when it comes to women's wrestling and in educating me and Jay, of course, in conversation. So I got to give him the proper respect in terms of basically, informing me, giving me ideas in terms of seeing, which other stars can possibly come up. And I like the idea with some of the AEW stars that came over, like Eddie Kingston, who's now with the Blade, the Butcher. Technically should have been Marty Scurll, but, that's another story for itself. But the tag team scene, I think now there's a beautiful limbo in a sense with what's going on in AEW, because now I'm pretty sure the rivalry between Jericho and Orange Cassidy is all but done. So it's interesting to see where Inner Circle can finally go, whether or not Pride and Powerful can finally get an opportunity to be at that tag team level going against FTR, who are now the tag team champions, and where Adam Page can go. There's so much beautiful things that they're starting to put in the right direction. And I think they needed time. I mean, as much as me and Eric have been hard on them because we're fans as well, I think they needed time to kind of finally develop and find their foothold. I mean, sure, there's a lot of stuff they can do bad as well, but I do think now they're starting to find their foothold in what they want to establish as their company in terms of finding their true identity.
I'll give a little pushback on to a certain extent, only because I agree with all, like, for the most part, 80% of what you just said. But there's that 1/5 where it's kind of like, because they needed to cross this hurdle. They needed to cross the all-out hurdle because, at least from my vantage point, they had my attention with the OC Chris Jericho feud. I don't know what happened, but at a certain point, I was just like, it was kind of like, it was bathroom break for me for whatever reason. And this is kind of one of the two most prominent, stars going on right now.
The internet's awful.
They
really had that man in that puddle.
Oh God,
right? They captioned it, "Drink it in, man."
It's not. Listen, he did it to himself. And he invented it. I'll say this much: it's one of those things where they had to push through, but it was like they stumbled to the finish. And now that they stumbled to the finish, I think that, to your point, they picked themselves up. Just like if you're in a race, right? You're in a relay race, you trip up, and then you just gather yourself and you keep going. I think that AEW is going there. I will say this one thing, because you did mention Moxley in terms of changing his character. I ain't seen no change of character. I just think that he's gone back to character.
I couldn't agree with that either.
I just feel like his character is like, just have him be like 2015 version of him. I get it. It was a WWE version, but it was also the one that was least, had the attention on. So he had a much free reign and he just did what he did.
I'll take it a step back even further. I'll give me the CZW John Moxley.
Oh,
you're not gonna.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna get it.
In terms of
get it because the matches they've had. I mean,
you'll get the intensity.
I'll get the.
You get the intensity in the promos. Like, I don't think Moxley got to kill himself with weapons no more to prove a point. But I will say this: like, well, one, thank you, and two, you gotta screw me up. You gotta use what you got. I mean, John Moxley's still the champion. I don't exactly know, the possibilities in terms of other people that come in pretty high. I mean, there's always the possibility of a rematch with Omega, but a different Omega. You got Pac. There are and with Cody possibly moving out of the way, like Randy said, other people could move in. I mean, it's a very hungry roster. I hope that pushes Moxley to change a little bit, but I personally don't think we're going to see a change in Moxley until he decides to turn, because you could make the argument that all he needs is an edge, which is usually my devil's advocate argument for why someone doesn't have to turn heel. You just got to give them a purpose, right? But the thing with Moxley is if you give him an edge now, he's either going to rip through the roster or he's going to get ripped by the roster. And
he's even going through the roster already.
Right. And if you're going to – and honestly, in this version of him right now, still going off of what he's done previously, he needs something devastating to give him a proper character motivation, in my opinion.
Exactly.
And that devastating thing is losing the chip off of whether it be some BS. He just got bested. He just snaps. You know what I mean? Looks like, what's his name from The Shining? Like Jack Nicholson in The Shining or something. He needs something to push him over the edge, because right now he's content. He's cool, and he's like, no one can press me right now. He's kind of at his highest, so no one can touch me. He looked at MJF and was like, it's like the older brother looking at the younger brother. I mean, it's not like you can't beat me, but I know you not. If I put this line in the sand, you're not gonna cross it, and if you cross it, I'm gonna fuck you up. So he needs something to stunt his confidence and push him over the edge, personally.
I couldn't agree more. I definitely couldn't agree more.
Also, Matt Hardy, thank God you're okay.
Thank God that Matt Hardy is okay. That was a bad spot.
Exactly.
Sammy Guevara is getting a bad reputation for being probably one of the worst workers in the business right now. Seth had that.
Yeah, I got to come with y'all now.
It was Seth. It was Sasha Banks. Now Sammy Guevara.
Yo, Biggie, what's going on with this Sammy guy, son? Because Matt Hardy's my guy, WWE guy. And all I'm seeing is that this boy Sammy has been doing shit after shit after shit to my boy. Rebby Hardy's even coming after this guy now. And AEW. What is wrong with your guy?
Listen, I'm going to say this. Don't get me wrong about Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is an excellent talent. But he is a young kid that just hasn't had the right guidance around him. In my
He's been
opinion.
making boneheaded mistakes for the past,
It
what,
was
2-3
an
months
look,
now?
yo, it was an accident. Look,
It was an accident.
put yourself in
Tried
Sammy.
to help Matt, though.
They said you are a young wrestler. The whole world loves your charisma. You're not in your veteran stage where you can like turn it on and off. You're kind of just going in and they tell you you're gonna do a hardcore match with a hardcore legend like Matt Hardy.
With it, and you have to factor in a hardcore legend. He's on the wrong side of 40 right now. So it's like you doing spots on like literally concrete and a random table.
And Matt Hardy's so old school, you know, he's willing to do what it takes to get this to be as believable as possible. You want to make him proud. You want to make your company proud. There's a lot of pressure being put on you. Like people who have been calling him a young Eddie Guerrero for about a year now, right? Like he wants to impress people. It wasn't his fault that things went the way it did. Literally, they were an inch or two off of the table. Like
To be honest with you, Gene, I know you don't watch AEW, but if you go back and watch the exact spot to where they stopped the match, they both overshot the spot that they were supposed to do through the table.
They should have stopped the match. They should have stopped the match.
They did stop it.
They did, and then they
No.
They threw up the X.
Matt didn't want to stop.
Like the fact that Matt got back up and then like went back and then they had to stop the match right after, and then the controversy after that, they shouldn't have been in the blood right away.
I'll say this real quick, Gene. For the one thing that I cannot explain for is the chair incident. The chair incident,
Okay.
I can't defend that. But the hardcore match that they had over the weekend, if you go back and watch the exact spot, Matt Hardy was not positioned to where he was going to land straight through that table. He was going to land on concrete.
yeah.
So it was faults on both sides, which there was
exactly. Don't stunt him. He just came. Not even just the fact that he just came back. Like don't stop. Don't stop it. This shit happens.
Matt didn't even get mad at the chair situation.
Like I'm not saying it was right, but I'm saying literally this was like when you in the air.
You can't control yourself.
There's nothing that can go right if it's already been predetermined that you out of bounds.
True.
There's not much you can do.
We got to keep it moving, though. Thank God Matt is good. You know,
Yes.
I know Revy Sky is being, you know, her usual.
I'm not reading
self
that Twitter rant.
on social media. I will say, speaking of Twitter, shout out to one wife.
Without a doubt.
I will say before we move on, shout out to one wife of one John Moxley, Renee Paquette, for basically getting at MJF after just basically telling him to sit down, be humble.
Oh, and I hope they keep Matt Sydal. That was nice to see.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God!
Listen, we ain't gotta listen. We ain't got time in the
No,
world.
no. Because here's what y'all gonna do. You're gonna be like, it's the tale of two bumps. It's the tale of two falls, Matt. No, do you understand that Matt
was funny.
Evan Bourne has been for 10 years has been one of the stars that should have been here. He was the next RVD, and I still think he's the modern day RVD. Y'all gonna give him his roses, because if he starts going crazy in AEW,
don't gotta give him that. Yo,
he's gonna be on Botchamania's YouTube this weekend.
I don't care.
Of course he's gonna be, but yeah,
if he ends up with a chip and he's still in AEW by the end of the year, I don't want to hear it. All right.
Oh no.
Give me Matt Sydal and Pac. That's the match I want.
We got. Oh my God! Listen, we gotta move it on. We gotta hot tag it to Raw. Raw is like give me the tag.
They done pulled the plug on that. Nobody, you ain't ready for that conversation, are you?
Because we done talk some smack on All Out. We got to talk some smack on Raw. I don't know what was going on.
This was a sloppy show altogether.
Wait, what are we talking about right now?
Raw.
Last night.
Last night. Oh, I thought we were talking about SmackDown first.
Before we get into it, I want to make one point here.
What's up?
And I read this on Bleacher Report. Get Keith Lee out of this Orton and McIntyre feud. Get him out. If you're pushing a megastar at like Keith Lee, I understand you want to tease him to go near the title, but I felt like him and Orton would have been a better program for the time being, because Orton could always go back to Drew McIntyre. You know what I'm saying? He always has that gripe to go back to him.
I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better. Vince, don't write it on the day of the show. Because
That too.
That was
90
basically
minutes
it.
before the show.
So for all intents and purposes, you had a run together tag team match between Garza, Almas versus Street Profits, which the Street Profits won again.
Yeah,
then
we're done with that.
you had basically the situation where whatchamacallit, you had that situation where Keith Lee versus Randy Orton for 3 times in 2 weeks. You had that again. You had 2 team breakups on the same show. Not saying that, one of which, I ain't gonna lie to you, it was pretty damn cool. But to have it in simultaneously happening, and to have all those things, it's almost as if whatchamacallit, I was watching What Culture and Wrestle Talk, their coverage of it, and then on What Culture, it was yo, if it wasn't for Drew, if it wasn't for Randy, and it wasn't for the Mysterios going to town on Murphy, I don't know what the show would be. And even then, it's just what the fuck?
It still wasn't. Don't get me wrong. I've seen worse Raws, but this is probably one of the worst of this year so far. Probably one. It's top 3.
I wouldn't necessarily. Here's the
We
thing.
got some Raw left.
Huh?
Got some Raw left this year, man.
Exactly. But the thing is,
Yeah,
I wouldn't even. The crazy part about it is, it's sad because I wouldn't even consider it one of the worst. I would just consider it one of the I don't know. I came home
Where's King?
and I heard
all over the
Cedric
place.
turn heel. I heard it was going to be Black versus Kevin Owens at Raw Underground. That didn't turn out well.
I have a great.
Go ahead. And that was 3 segments, in the span of 1 hour. Continue.
My highlights, because I had to catch Raw afterwards. I was telling the guys earlier in a phone call today. I had to catch Raw afterwards. I was hearing, first of all, I think it's hilarious that Drew hit 3 Claymores in one night on Randy Orton. Randy Orton's neck will never be the same. 2, Cedric, I will give them credit for the Cedric thing because they teased that months in advance. Although they did leave it open-ended because they didn't follow up on it for a while until they came back to it. But at least they followed up on Cedric turning heel. Ricochet is just literally a human crash test dummy on this show. I feel bad for the guy. But a lot of people have been saying that why isn't it Ricochet why isn't it Ricochet joining the Hurt Business instead of Cedric? Now, for one, we still don't know where it's going. Gene, I'm sure you're probably thinking, why is it Ricochet and not Cedric?
Yeah, why Ricochet?
Now, why? Here's the thing: everybody wants Ricochet to be the guy because everybody's seen the potential of him, either from the Independents or from him earlier. Because last year, the Tale of Two Shows, Ricochet low-key was one of the most pushed people on Raw consistently last year.
Oh yeah, man. His feud with AJ Styles was good.
People saw him in NXT, doing all the crazy things he did in NXT. Everyone's like, why isn't it Ricochet? And here's my thing. I compare it to the Shield situation a couple years ago. It makes sense logically. Yes, he's the guy that can do well, but that's the thing. Ricochet can do well. Now, this company is discombobulated with his booking, so we never know what they're going to do, right? But let's put it in the realm of a sensible booking scenario, right? Yes, Ricochet makes sense, but this would benefit Cedric 10 times more. And I think I brought this up in a previous episode when I said, where does Cedric Alexander in the Two Fly crew grow? Where does he go if Ricochet leaves? He's a body for Ricochet, right? Ricochet is going to be stunned on everybody. He's going to be jumping. He's going to be messing up Ali. He's going to be messing up Cedric. He's going to be messing up XYZ. But the thing about it is that Ricochet is so much better as a hero. And people are also saying, his mic skill get better being around MVP. He can still be around MVP. It's not like these guys can't mentor him in the back and help him, build his face persona. You know what I mean?
Apollo Crews.
Apollo Crews was able to do that under Heyman's guidance. And it's not to say that he can't still talk to his peers and figure something out. Putting him in a storyline just because the reality is a lot of people want Ricochet in that spot because they want him to finally move up on the card and do something substantial. And you can achieve that even with the Cedric thing. Now, Cedric has been a company player for years now. He stayed in the Cruiserweight division not knowing if he was going to graduate to something else or not. And the fact that he's proven himself as a single star, he tried having programs last year that also got stunted. Talk about Ricochet, the tale of 2 years. Ricochet had a great year last year, only for Cedric to kind of fall off last year after getting some hype, right? The guy is built.
Yeah.
His finisher, the lumbar check, is built to be heelish. He can literally, with Ricochet and Ali selling it off the bat. I've seen this dude hit it on Brian Kendrick, Tony Nese, snapping backs, making like he is the better fit for this faction. And the fact that he has connections to Mustafa Ali and Ricochet as initial feuds, it fits more for him, and he can go higher in his career. Like, I'm not worried. I'm worried about Ricochet from a booking standpoint because the company sucks, not because there isn't potential for him to move up, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, Ricochet can move up, face, heel, whatever. That potential doesn't go away until the company throws him to the side. You know what I'm saying? But Cedric was going to be thrown to the wolves regardless. The fact that he's being given a spot like this is actually kind of inspiring, because it's very easy to just send Cedric right back to the Cruiserweight division where that's his ceiling. Like, that's the only place he can really shine. You know what I mean?
I do you one more.
Most
Like,
go ahead.
And like, I gotta give MVP a hell of a lot of credit in believing in those young men. And when he came back, I thought it was gonna be one of those nostalgia act type bullshit where he's just gonna linger around, job to who knows what, and then fade away to obscurity, you know, until he fully retires. But the blessing in disguise that was the pandemic, keeping him along, was able just to help these young men. You know, to help Ricochet, to help Cedric Alexander, to help the returning Ali, who should get out of main event, by the way.
Hey, listen, look, I'm about to watch that match. I'm about to watch that.
That match was great.
Yo,
that match was great. But still, you gotta get the fuck up out of main event. He's too good for that. He was able just to help these men. And Apollo Crews. These young men have all made tremendous strides being under the tutelage of an MVP. Me and you, Ty, we talked about the fact that even if you have people that you're not using backstage, like who are legends or who are still good enough on TV, use them as background agents to help produce these young talents. And I believe that's what MVP has been doing. And you see what he's been doing, the influence that he's been having, and bringing relevance back to Shelton Benjamin. And the fact that he's been able to just do that and bring guys that are vets along with him to usher in the new future. You can say in some hindsight that, like, the new evolution in a sense like that, because they have the past, the present, the future. MVP has always been forward thinking about grooming the future. When you had the Beatdown Clan back in TNA, Kenny King was supposed to be that future guy you push, even though Bobby Lashley was going to be the world champion. You knew down the road 5 to 10 years, and for the industry itself, it was Kenny King. It was guys like Moose, who was TNA champion before Eric Young took it, you know. For MVP has always been forward thinking. So the fact that he was able to do that there, for him to do that here, gives so much opportunities for these young men and so much benefits too. Because if it wasn't for him, I'm pretty sure these guys would basically just linger off in catering.
Yeah.
Ain't no if. They would have definitely been in catering, bro. Ain't no if.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, you ain't lying. But to wrap up Raw, I do want to get into Booker Berry and to tie it into SmackDown as well. Booker burying. This one is an interesting one. Drew versus Orton. Is this Drew McIntyre's best feud?
I'm gonna book it. And it is his best feud because he finally has a legitimate person that can legit take this title off him. I don't think anybody else that he fought since Brock Lesnar could take this title off him. So I'm definitely gonna book it. And a second match is overdue.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And you know, you look back on all the matches leading up. I mean, of course, you had the Messiah Seth Rollins coming out of, you know, WrestleMania, and then there was that little period there where, you know, you had the Lashleys of the world, and now Randy Orton. So most def. Here's an interesting one. Retribution. We didn't talk much about Retribution on this show. They had a good old little segment. Are we booking or burying their explanation to why they're wreaking havoc on the WWE?
I just can't get invested in them. I can't.
What was it about? Isn't it basically like a Robin Hood thing, you know, that they're tired of them being in the back and shit, and the higher-ups or whatever?
Listen,
like, I was just listening to, like, this is some Robin Hood stories, which y'all telling me right now.
Me and him and Dijakovic.
Right, yeah. We have to, you know what? Screw the book of the berry. All right, so we have Dijakovic was me and Yim was on the left.
Far left, yeah.
Like Caden Cross.
Is this that photo that everybody identified?
Mojo Rawley, Mojo
think
Rawley is
Mojo?
in there.
Wait,
Mojo
did I
was-
miss
Mojo
something?
was
Did
in
they
the
reveal
back.
who
I didn't know
Yeah.
more, but I
No,
know
they didn't
Did you not-
reveal. So,
Ty, did you not watch the Retribution promo from last night?
I did
So,
not see it.
They
So-
actually let
so
them
I'll-
speak.
They
So
they didn't show their face, like their faces weren't fully shown, but like they had the ninja mask on, but you could see their eyes. And from the eyes, you
see
can
their
pretty
eyes
much tell.
down to
Like
he,
John
like so
Jacoby was there,
basically,
Me and him was
Mia
a
Yim
tech
was
dibble.
there.
and basically, like if you looked at their, like they were wearing semi like skin tight thing to show their physiques. Dominic Dijakovic stuck out like a sore thumb.
I mean, he's
He's
the
the only
tallest dude
person.
there.
He's
Of
the
course he
only
was
one
scoring
that's
out.
like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, right. So we
Me and
knew
him
it was him.
eyes, like you knew.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Look, I have to. Granted, I have to watch it, right? I have to watch it to get the full. But just going off of what you're saying, like, isn't that the purpose of every stable? We're tired of how we're treated. We want to be put in the forefront. We've joined
Yeah.
alliances to gain power. Like from Nexus to Evolution to the Horsemen to like it. Essentially,
That
that's the
wasn't
core of
Shield's
every
objective.
stable. Now here's the thing. Like, another thing I noticed about Retribution is like the bodies change every week. Like they're different people under the hood.
They grow. It's like
They-
it went from being
they
5 to now.
Expand and they
They're
decrease.
like
20.
they're like Digimon when we were kids, Pokemon now. No one's gonna get that reference. Nobody watched Pokemon now. I don't either. I just saw Giga Evolutions and went, why is this happening? Digimon really won that war. My point being is that what do you call it? This is this reminds me of Suicide in TNA. The character Suicide, how they had
Oh,
mad
yeah.
people under the mask.
Yeah.
And most of the people that were under the mask were on-screen talent that had their own things going on. And at first it was okay because it fit into the story, but eventually you have to have permanent people under the mask. I'm gonna bury it just off the premise that
Well, to be honest, they've had the same people over the last couple of weeks.
The main
but how
people
long
who
has the
show up
storyline
on the
been
roster.
going on? And
Probably about a month and a half,
honestly,
2 months.
it's not a matter of the idea can't work. You got to sell somebody on it, right? What is Mia Yim gonna tell me that she's been held
It's-
down when she was
It's
just
not
with
even. It's not even that. It's like Retribution has no goal. Like they have no goal.
and
What is their goal?
you know what the funny thing
To be
was?
children backstage and
But you-
destroy shit.
You know
That's
what the
their goal.
funny thing was? Neither did the Shield when they first showed up.
They fought injustice.
No, what the
Oh,
fuck
they
is
had
injustice,
an
Eric?
objective. Let's not do that
What
now.
the
The
fuck is
Shield
Let's
had
not
injustice,
do
Eric?
that. Let's not do that. They had
No, I can
injustice.
fight this because
They
I
were
lived it.
hired, They were hired guns.
Hired by who?
Exactly.
It took us a year
By
to find
Paul
out who they
Heyman.
were hired by. The
We
Shield.
knew who they were
hired
hired
them.
by. They just didn't want to tell
Exactly.
They
us.
were hired by CM. They were hired by CM. And how did look? They were mercenaries. They were hired to keep the belt off CM Punk. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking after that.
They
When
just did
they-
whatever the hell they wanted after that.
Exactly.
after that, it
Fuck
was just
you.
game
They had no
practice.
purpose.
So beat
They
people
had
up,
no
do
purpose.
shit.
No. Hear me out. They had no purpose after the CM Punk thing. They floated around and they jumped whoever they felt like it, and people liked it because it was different and it was new. Now compare that to Retribution now with their wacky ass Suicide Squad antics, chainsawing ropes and shit, just messing with the lights, messing with
The
this.
only
No,
difference is
because
Go
there
ahead.
isn't a difference because
there's
there's
a
no
big difference.
purpose. No,
They're
because when the
children,
Shield did
the
it,
Shield were not.
the Shield
That's
attacked random people, and the only reason why they stayed in the main event was because they were the most interesting thing on the roster. Retribution is doing the exact same thing, just doing whatever they feel when they feel, attacking who they want when they want, and it's not working. You want to know why it's not working? It hasn't been executed to the point that we have. We don't know who's under these masks, but we can guess. There's no there's less purpose here than with the Shield. But the only reason why we can get attached to the Shield is because the personalities were given a better first impression.
I think it's because we knew who they were. Like
They gave
we know who they were at
Seth
all. The
Rollins.
Shield, we knew who everybody was, bro.
we had Seth Rollins, we had Dean Ambrose, two people who are top prospects in FCW NXT. Then we had Roman Reigns, who was a top prospect in NXT for a bit. We knew who these guys were, and if we didn't, we had a good enough impression right off the bat that we could get behind these guys to the point where we didn't care about their motivation. Retribution's bodies, like you said, they'd be shifting and stuff. It'd be 5 dudes one week. It'd be Aaliyah the next week. What the fuck is Mia Yim going to tell me about? She's been held down, Eric. What is that?
She didn't win the NXT Women's title.
Bitch, nobody won the NXT Women's title. You know who did? Charlotte. Charlotte
She's
did
been
it.
held
Oh,
down.
I'm sad because I lost to Charlotte. Get in line. You have to
She's
sell
been
me on this,
held
Eric.
down.
No,
She's
Eric.
been held down.
You gotta
She's
sell
in-
me on this,
She's
Eric.
in. She's in the shadows of her boyfriend Keith Lee.
So is Candice LeRae. And what did
So
she
what-
do? Dyed her hair.
She should be part of Retribution.
Candice LeRae is part of Retribution?
She should be.
Bitch, her husband's
Why should
NXT.
Candace be
Like,
a
if
part
you
of
really,
Retribution? Why don't you don't stop playing,
in
Biggie?
terms of kayfabe, all these people, if they wanted to, could find other avenues to get to this point. What the hell? Why would you put your husband in danger when he just got on Raw beating the shit out of people?
Dijakovic only got one title shot, as far as I know, for the NXT.
How many times did he fight for the
Okay,
Raw?
now we come into how was Dijakovic held back? If anything, he should be going after Karrion Kross in his house because of what Karrion Kross did to him.
Shut up, Gene. That's not.
Yeah.
That's a crime. My point being is that.
Buddy Murphy last night. That's a
My
crime.
point being is like.
That's a crime.
My point being is like with these bodies or whoever bodies they use for Retribution, you can make it work. But the reason why the Shield worked was because we had a good enough first impression and there was a lot of potential for who they were. We knew their personalities. We knew that something could happen. With Retribution, we don't know. We're not supposed to know who's under the mask. They give us a generic promo where they're talking about we came together because we feel like it's like at this point.
Robin Hood ass promo.
At this point, like if you take the Shield and the Nexus, Retribution is a poor man's Shield and Nexus. Why does Shield and Nexus work?
Very poor.
I'll give you that. And the only thing interesting about this whole Retribution thing to anyone is just the simple fact of the matter. We just want to know who is involved.
Now, let's say it is Dominic Dijakovic. If he gave me something along the lines of he's tired of, like, he's mad at himself that he couldn't win, or he feels like he wasn't good enough, like if he feels like this is the only avenue for him to succeed, I can get behind that. But if your purpose is I'm getting these people together and we're blowing up speaker boxes and cutting down ropes because we didn't get the push that we wanted, it's not a strong enough sell. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's why I called them children, bro.
It's not a strong. They're taller than Eugene.
You know what?
It's not a strong enough
Yeah,
sell.
I
Vince,
doubt that.
Vince is underneath
I
one
doubt
of the
that. I'm
hoods.
pretty sure
It's me,
Dijakovic and
Austin.
Mojo are the only one taller than me, bro.
It's me, Austin. It's Vince underneath there.
Like,
There it is.
do you get what I'm trying to say, y'all? Like, I need a
No, I
stronger
get it.
sell.
Yeah, no.
I need
I
a
get
stronger
it.
sell.
I get it. I've been saying this about them.
If my money
You
was
have
on
to
the
get me
line, I'd
invested.
beat these children and just run from Dijakovic because
You have to give me
Pretty much.
something with Retribution. With Retribution, their biggest problem is, and the biggest problem with creative is that they don't have a goal.
It also doesn't help that this whole gimmick is based off the damn riots that came out of the protests and the.
There's
There's a lot of reasons
you gotta
why
sell me.
It's
You gotta
just
give
not-
me a goal.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I didn't
If
think
you,
about
like,
that, Ty. That's
give
a
me-
very good point. Them
Similar
destroying
to
shit is very
Brown.
reminiscent of something else.
If similar to
Uh-huh.
Brown, if you're gonna make it make sense, because if it's just for shock value, it's run its course. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
all I'm saying.
most def.
right.
I mean, I at this point,
No, you
I'm
SmackDown review.
Yeah,
Last
SmackDown
week's
review.
SmackDown.
SmackDown review.
Yeah.
What a retribution.
sorry,
talk
I'm
about.
mad. I'm mad. Like this is just.
Yeah. I don't even want to bring up a Shield situation or someone related to Shield, but Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at Clash of Champions.
That's fucking fabulous.
Oh, I am
Beautiful.
I am
I'm
that.
booking it.
I feel bad for
Booking
I
it.
feel bad for Jay because it's like
I'm booking it.
You gonna
And
die.
I want to put this out there too. That opening segment on SmackDown was so
A work of
fucking
art.
good.
A work of
All
art.
I don't want to
Heyman
hear it.
did
I don't wanna hear it.
exactly what he was supposed to
man.
do. The only problem I have with it is just Roman said a little too much. If he would have just said believe that and dropped the mic and walked out,
Okay, I could kind of get that.
A
I
plus.
could
The fact that he
no,
called this place an island instead of the yard was much better for me because I was getting
Oh, no.
tired of him saying
Oh,
that
no.
yard shit.
That was a
Oh, no.
shot. That was a shot at
that was
Tonga.
a-
He's like,
yeah,
yo, fuck your shit. I'm on an island,
like
bitch.
him and
What
Tonga have
you
been going
gonna
at
do?
it for years.
It's like, yo, what you gonna do? That was a shot at Tonga. I'm
Yo.
like, yo, this Tongan Samoan rivalry got to chill. I love both of y'all.
I can't
got
be the
the
only one
chills,
sitting here
son.
like, why are we getting excited? They eat at the same table. Why are we doing it? Why are we fighting each other, yo? This doesn't make any sense.
Because
I
Tonga
mean, when
and
they fight that
Samoa.
Clash of Champions,
Y'all have the same face template from 2K. Y'all can't be doing this. All right, you can't be doing this.
Oh man.
My God.
I mean, hey, listen. Another thing that came on, like
Fucking that shit.
that was we all booking. another thing that came on SmackDown was, of course, our homegirl Bailey putting in work on Sasha Banks.
Pamela,
man.
Pamela.
Are we booking or burying that ass whooping like that?
God.
I mean,
I didn't know she had that in her.
I didn't either, bro. I was so
No,
shocked.
No. I
I'm
knew
shocked.
she had the heel in her title. Relax. I knew that she had the capability of being the bad guy.
No, not that. I mean, she literally beat Becky's ass with a chair last year. Almost
But
to the
not
day.
no. See,
What she
being
did
somebody
not to the-
is one thing, Tyler.
Not to the point where she did with Sasha. That was
But
different.
someone in the guillotine, bro. In a guillotine, a chair.
No, she got
side.
first
Picking
of
up a trachea, son.
don't talk about
Trachea,
tracheas with this
son.
context. Don't do this. First of all, Bailey, I'm booking it. My takeaway, I hope Sasha off TV for a couple months. I hope they don't do what they did with them. Because remember when like Charlotte beat up Ronda with a chair,
Yes.
and she was out, and Ronda was out the next night smiling and shit.
Bro, that
And they were like,
was
"Yo,
reminiscent
what
of
is
the Brock
wrong?
Lesnar
Why
John
can't
Cena
we?
match.
Why is she not a face? I don't understand. She's
I
supposed
get
to be
Ronda.
good." Why is she? Oh my God.
You know how they should book this? They should do it like this.
Yeah.
Bailey should come out on Friday, cut a promo, stating why she did what she did, and just leave Sasha off TV until
Apparently
we get months until we get closer to Mania.
I wouldn't bring
Oh, yeah,
Sasha back till the
Survivor
Rumble,
Series.
yo.
Mania.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do with the Rumble
wait
for the
for no
Rumble
Mania
pandemic
for that.
era.
Yeah.
But
Yo, you for that kind of match for
Hell
Bailey
in a
versus
Cell.
Sasha? No,
started
fuck
at
that. Why
Survivor
would you
Series.
do it at a
He's
Hell
at
in a
Survivor
Cell?
Series.
Why would you do that kind of feud on
Who
a
said Hell in
B
a
plus
Cell?
pay-per-view?
Whoa.
Gene,
Whoa.
that's a C pay-per-view. Why would I do that on a C pay-per-view?
Where you wanted that Survivor Series?
No.
No.
I'm saying.
no,
Start
have
the story. You plan to see the
Started.
Survivor Series. Royal
So where do
Rumble
you want
break that shit up.
Wait. Whoa. How you planning?
Where do you want it?
though?
wait,
Tell me
I'm
where
so
you want it.
confused.
Yeah, right.
When do you want the match? Tell me.
Randy,
Let's start
yeah,
with,
no.
let's start with Randy. Randy first. Where do you
Mania.
want the match?
Mania.
Okay.
You
how
can-
do you
all right.
plan to see that
Biggie, what about
Survivor
you?
Series? No. Hold on. How do you
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
the
Go ahead.
Survivor Series?
I'm so confused.
Say if Bailey's facing somebody, Sasha comes back, interrupts the match. You know, basically starting to plant the seeds. Royal Rumble. Say if she does win and Bailey's still a champion.
Or you could
Like
just
yourself.
My
delay.
guy,
you
just
could
put her
do-
at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, just
If
delay it
that's
to the
the case,
Rumble.
just
Yeah.
Chris Jericho, Edge. It worked so well. Why? Because Edge came back. Why? Because we didn't expect it. Why? Because
And
it's
that also involved a chair.
WrestleMania. And involved
I think
Royal Rumble.
it's been like 10 years. I might
Survivor
be wrong about
Series.
that one.
Because
Because you
Survivor
already know.
Series-
Because you already know Survivor Series is going to be booked to crazy. Like.
Oh
this
yeah, we gotta eventually do a show because remember, the elephant in the room is still Taker's anniversary, even though he faded off the
Yeah,
television.
he's retired. He's retired. All right.
Don't
Ain't coming back.
don't
He's
jinx
retired.
it. Don't jinx
Don't
it.
jinx it.
Shawn
Exactly.
Michaels
Thank you.
was
I'm on
like-
Tyler's side with this
I
one.
don't care what
Oh,
AJ's saying. AJ Styles, you know he's my guy, but AJ, please shut up. Stop trying to get Undertaker to come back. Enough.
Oh,
We're
I
done.
was about to say, I was like,
You know what's fucked up? But I agree with
Like,
you.
what AJ do, man?
AJ,
Like, what AJ gonna do, man? What you do, man?
He keeps talking about,
What you do?
I want Taker to come back. I need to get one more match. We could have got it at SummerSlam. That'd have been great. Hell, the
Nah, but
30th
you know
anniversary
what?
was in the-
Hey, listen. You
Calm
know what?
down,
AJ, I think. But you know what?
Another
AJ.
boneyard
Alan
match.
Jones. Stop.
It's funny though. It's funny though, because with AJ, you know what I mean. He's in this little Intercontinental Championship scene. This little
he
triple
got a
threat
whole segue out of that. Thank
got
you.
a Jeff Hardy, got a AJ Styles. Are we booking or burying
That
this
triple
bad
threat
boy?
match at Clash of Champions is going to be fire. I
I'm
cannot wait
gonna
to
book
see it.
that.
I'm
I'm gonna
booking
book
it.
that.
I cannot wait for Clash
I
of
like
Champions.
it. I like it.
Sammy's been I love funny Sammy. Like, I ain't gonna front. I don't know if y'all like funny Sammy, but fuck y'all anyway.
I do. What?
I like-
Wait a
I like-
minute. What?
I like the
To be
fact
honest, Ty, you had a lot of energy in this episode. I'm gonna just let that
Yeah.
rock. Go
I
ahead.
like the fact that he came back like he spent time in the forest, looking in the candles at night, trying to find a way to come back saying, I'm still the Intercontinental Champion. And like him and Shinsuke backstage, that segment was funny.
Hey man, like yo, it's been so much. It's been
That
so
shit was
long.
so fucking funny. And the fact that him and Jeff have that little energy going and then AJ coming around as that third person, like, I shouldn't have lost it. Intertwining both stories. I love
AJ
it.
was a-
Like, I love how organic that story is because Sammy, I I love Sammy, man.
It
just makes for an organic triple threat story.
I want this to happen because as wrestling fans, we get so caught up in one-on-one rivalries. We keep forgetting that triple threats can be lit. Like fatal four-way, multi-person. Like unless it's like Elimination Chamber or Money in the Bank, y'all don't really be thinking about multi-person like storylines like that, unless it's like main event stars intertwined. Sami Zayn is the most. He really came on the show, said, "Hey, this is my belt." Kicked Jeff. Jeff planked into the ground. You got AJ walking out like an angry dad, like, "Yo, you took my son's football, son." Jeff's just in the middle, like, "What did I do wrong? I won this legit with a busted up knee too." Like, I love it. From a comedic standpoint, it's funny, but also like, look at the talent in there, bro. Like. I think the last time I saw AJ and Sammy in a triple threat was when Kofi was involved. So now we're swapping out Kofi for Jeff. We got the IC, like the IC belt. Like I like these because every time we be, predicting long-term storylines for titles, it's always one-on-one. It's nice to throw a curveball like this in the mix. Like, come on.
And if nothing else, I feel like it already has a sentimental place in my heart because we all had a get together on Friday. Our older brother came up and he was like, "I like this shit." He was like, "I like this shit." I like the belt. He was like, "I like this shit." He's like, "Yo, man,
also,
He was like, "Why he kicked him so clean, son?" He like, you just saw his clean pop up. He just like, what I mean? It was the funniest shit ever.
Okay,
man.
there's only one thing that'll make me not like this story. Sammy needs to wear actual wrestling clothes. He better not wear that fucking combat joint he had at Mania. I'm tired of this gimmick.
You don't want Indiana Jones, Sammy?
I want him to wear like when I saw him come back with the long hair, I was like,
Sammy.
yes. Now you could do your slick back Shawn Michaels type mess and really show people what's up. You know what I mean? Now you could really embrace the HBK that people thought you were a couple years ago, because he's one of the best workers in the world. People forget that. Sami Zayn is one of the greatest on, like, he's in the AJ Finn Balor Orton. Like, nobody respects this man until you go back and watch the clips.
Words of Generico.
Like, bro, if y'all don't book this, fuck y'all. I'm like Randy. For some reason, Randy was like, "Y'all gonna eat at the house?" Nah, you gonna smell the food anyway. Fuck y'all. Just close the door on you. Didn't even let you in the house. I don't know what the fuck that was. Like,
there it is.
I'm with Randy on this one.
Bold predictions tonight, of course, is NXT. Super Tuesday part deux. We have Adam Cole versus Finn Balor for the undisputed NXT Championship of the World. One fall.
Looking at you, Biggie. You know what's gonna happen.
We're doing predictions for this championship for the third week in a row. What the fuck?
For the third week in a row.
That's what. Hey, listen. As sad as it sounds, I told you.
Do anything for clout, my friend.
I told you. Listen. I only look at the rundown. 1, 2. I said last week, Mean Gene. He kind of looked at me. He was like, "Yo, you ain't gonna be paying attention to this match." I'm be honest. I'm going to watch myself some Rockets Lakers. But that being said, it's happening tonight. It is the main event. And you do have Finn Balor, Adam Cole. Book this bad boy. Make it creative. Bold predictions. What do you guys got?
Based on the last 2 weeks, I've been firmly consistent on a certain Brooklyn resident, Fergal Devitt. After further review, after consorting with my godbrother on this one, because of the idea that later next week WWE UK will be returning and opening, I have to say that the title's coming back home to the gold and black baby. So Adam Cole is once again the NXT World Champion.
Oh. Of course you got the Judas on your side, Biggie. Of course you do. I don't know what you told him. You said something.
One more time. I'm going to find that underscore location.
You said something.
Listen,
Evan.
Go ahead, Biggie. Open your mouth. Let me hear what you got to say.
Eric looked like he threw gang signs as a kid to be cool, and now he finally found one of his own.
Listen.
Go ahead.
I'm going with Adam Cole tonight. Why wouldn't you go with Adam Cole tonight? Like, why? Why? For what reason could you go against Adam Cole?
I got one.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
for what reason? Listen,
what's up, Ty?
We're gonna.
All right.
Go ahead.
How many times you gonna? He literally held this shit for a year. Now look, here's the thing: the swerve is there because he's held it for a year. already, right? So you could easily swerve and be like, they're not going to put the belt back on Adam Cole. And then they put it back on Adam Cole. I mean, there's stuff working in your favor, don't get me wrong, but like, I'm not going to sit here and ignore the fact that NXT UK is coming out next week or so. And I mean, Survivor Series time is still coming up. Granted, NXT UK and NXT just combined to fight SmackDown and Raw last year. But I'm not going to sit here and rule out the fact that they could be doing a Worlds Collide where they have UK versus NXT. Because, I mean, I think they've done that before. They've done a couple of Worlds Collide shows where they had the other brands that you don't care about fight. And here's my thing. I know there's a spoiler going around about it. I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to let it affect my decision. But in terms of a booking decision, I think that if Balor is in this position, giving Balor the belt and then having Walter step up to him and be like, yo, who's the real best NXT world champion? I feel like there's more money in that than giving the belt back to Cole as a panic button, personally. Like, I thought Balor was going to get bounced. I thought it was going to be Ciampa, and then them motherfuckers decided to let those two fight again. And I'm just sitting here like, come on, man. I know Triple H and Shawn Michaels was technically for 2 years long, but we had breaks in between, like real breaks, not like, oh, we know it's coming back again breaks. Like, but I think there's more money in Finn and Walter fighting each other to see who's the supreme NXT champion. That's personally me.
I'll say this much on the excellent point, but I will say this much about the match in and of itself. Randomly, they booked themselves to the most natural championship match you could think of, because when Finn Balor initially came back, there was a segment where they teased the match between Finn Balor and Adam Cole.
They did have a
Balor, not with these type of stakes.
Who did Balor turn heel? When he turned heel, who was in the ring? Who was he staring down before he elegantly destroyed Johnny Gargano?
Adam Cole.
So there's a certain form of storytelling that is kind of embedded in it, and you know, for all intents and purposes, taking Finn Balor's purpose as to why he came back to NXT, what he sought after, and for him to win it tonight.
It's also funny because Adam Cole is the pseudo Bullet Club leader. Nobody counts him because he was in the Ring of Honor version. It's kind of funny to see the original Bullet Club leader and the fake one fighting. It is kind of like, I'm just saying as a you know, Wikipedia wiki facts. You know,
Baruto.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
You see, Biggie. That's what's going to happen.
Adam Cole is Baruto.
Finn Balor's taking this W. He's going to take the NXT Championship. And then we're going to kick the shit out of Walter.
You know what it is? Whoa. You're going too far now, Gene. You're going too far now.
Nope. We're coming for Walter.
Too far.
I mean, what better way to bring NXT UK back than to bust NXT's balls?
You need Walter to chop the shit out your chest. You saw what they did to Pete.
Look, NXT UK got barely any clout whatsoever. You want some clout?
Walter is damn near 300 pounds, yo.
No, it's all right.
Hey, Jay. I should have bet money.
Big died.
I pray for you.
I should have bet money that Gene was going to say something outlandish and 3 black shirts are going to attack a flying white shirt. I mean,
Tyler Bate
I'm not saying that as a white shirt. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yo, it's literally black shirt, white shirt right now. I just want you to know that, you know, Walter doesn't chop people. He Kali Ma's people, and they keep their heart. Like, he shows mercy halfway.
Yeah.
But Walter is dead.
All I know, Biggie, is that you better be watching the main event same time I am. You better be watching. No bullshit. I gotta go do this. I gotta go school, bitch. I gotta do whatever.
I'm sick of the two belt watching it. I'm sick of 2 belt people. This is what I'm sick of.
I'm tired.
I'm sick of the 2 belt booking. So this is why I picked Adam Cole. Not only because I'm an Adam Cole fan. Everybody knows that. There's no secret of that. But the thing is I'm tired of the 2 belt booking. We're not gonna do winner take all NXT Black and Gold versus NXT UK.
It's literally just, yo, who's the better brand? Like, it's like what they do.
They're gonna put it to that stake, though. They're gonna put it to a stake where it's gonna be okay. Walter is the top guy of NXT UK, and Finn Balor is the OG of NXT. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a winner take all. And on top of that, Finn's from the UK on top of that. So it's like, why not put the UK strap on him and have the NXT title?
That's to Europe, by the way.
To be fair, they're probably
Trying to go to
Jack Tunney
UK.
rule.
We love it here in Brooklyn.
They're probably gonna put the Jack Tunney rule on Finn like they did on Keith Lee to drop the secondary title.
Yeah, I like that rule, honestly. I mean,
do too.
later on, I
just don't want the 2-belt booking. I'm tired of the 2-belt booking.
You need to talk to Vince because next week it's Shinsuke
Vince is your boy
versus the Street Profits.
Vince is your boy.
Hey, whoa.
This is gonna be a 2-part episode where this is going.
That's a fact. Because
and I'm okay with it, but I don't know how much time.
Listen, honestly, I have been an advocate for less titles, so we could table that for another day. But I will say that to Kid Ty's point, I would hope that if Finn Balor were to win and he were to jump into the feud with Walter, they don't jump the gun and basically, calamity, because I still don't understand the Keith Lee.
I don't think so. I think they've learned from the Keith Lee thing that they're not going to do.
It's he won the North American title. He won the other title. He dropped the North American title one week. He lost the other one the next week.
You got to think of it from a Survivor Series weekend standpoint. Like, remember, last year, NXT got inserted because of the Saudi Arabia thing, or at least you can make the argument that it got inserted because of the Saudi Arabia hostage, whatever the hell that was situation.
Great episode of SmackDown.
So was NXT supposed to interfere? Were they supposed to be involved in that triangular Survivor Series feud? Who knows? My thing is, if they have the perfect opportunity this year to do NXT and NXT UK, because NXT UK has to come back with a bang. If Finn wins the championship, Walter steps up and is like, all right, hands behind his back, mafia style, and it's like, okay. And Fergal's like, I got a title while you were gone. What were you doing sitting on your arse? And they just fight each other, and they fight who's the superior NXT champion. That sells itself. And then the rest of it, like, we watched Worlds Collide last year. They didn't even have to put that many matches for us to get sold. We had a bomb-ass cruiserweight title match. That has ties to the UK as well, for the Jordan Devlin thing, although speaking out. But my point being is, like, these brands interact more often than we think. That Worlds Collide on Saturday and a Survivor Series on Sunday, where it's just brand warfare weekend. I'm just saying, look, I don't want the belt on Adam Cole. Let me just be quite frank. I'm tired of him holding this belt. No, don't shrug your shoulders, Eric. I'm gonna fight you.
That's fine.
I respect your consistency. I respect your consistency, but I can't do it no more, man.
Exactly.
I feel it. Listen, honestly, it is, of course, we're just doing predictions. We're gonna learn a lot more on whenever the next time we're gonna record.
Watch Shinsuke on Raw.
That's what it is. Right?
Why is Michael Cole on Raw? Free my man Tom Phillips.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't know where he at, but free him.
Yeah. That being said, Kid Dynamite, Diamond Cutter, Mean Gene, People's Champ, Golden Child. Enjoy NXT, folks.
Wasn't even a new design. It was the same as design, just no scratch logo, WWE Network logo at the time. That's it. It was the same look. Put that shit away.
Looks better. This one looks better than the Rock title.
Put that shit away, Eric. It's the same.
Looks better than the Rock's title.
It's the same.
No, that was far better than the one.
It's the same belt.